A food shortage in the UK is forcing some supermarkets to ration fruits and vegetables. And as CTV's Vanessa Lee tells us, British consumers are dealing with fallout from a combination of factors.
We've been to a couple of different supermarkets today, and there are a lot of empty shelves, a lot of signs that say temporarily out of stock. And so that is why more or less every grocery chain here has put limits in place. The one that we went to today, called Aldi, puts a limit on the number of cucumbers and tomatoes and peppers that people can buy. So it's a limit of 3 per customer. And the sign says it's so that there is enough to go around for everyone. And really, and at other grocery stores, it's not just the 3 items I just mentioned, but there's also raspberries that are in short supply. So they're limiting those, as well as bagged salad and cauliflower as well. And there are a couple of reasons for this. The first one that you mentioned is weather. So the UK gets a lot of its produce from Morocco and Spain, which has been hit with adverse weather, everything from drought to heavy rain and even a cold snap. It was actually snowing in Morocco yesterday. And Spain has also been hit hard, and its tomato crop is 20% smaller than it was last year. And this combined with another issue, because there's a lot of produce that is grown here in the UK as well, but there are local farmers who didn't grow as much this year because of high energy costs. They use the heated greenhouses, and because of skyrocketing costs, they did not grow as much. And so that is why we are seeing this shortage at the supermarket.
And now let's turn to the UK. 4 million children are going hungry in Britain. They're suffering what's called food insecurity. They're skipping meals or not eating for a whole day. This is twice the number of children compared to just a year ago. And this is thanks to Britain's cost of living crisis. It is hurting the poor the most. Food inflation was over 17% last month. That's the highest level ever recorded in the UK. There's a serious shortage of fresh vegetables. Headlines talk about a salad crisis and a pizza crisis, which may make it sound less severe than it is. A record number of people are surviving on food banks. London plans to start something like India's midday meal scheme. But what about the rest of the country? What is the UK government doing to tackle this hunger crisis? Our next report has the details.
More British children are going hungry than ever before. 4 million children are experiencing food insecurity. They come from the UK's poorest households where people are skipping meals to make ends meet. A new report says that about 22% of UK households faced food insecurity in January. This is up from 12% a year ago, almost double. The numbers are even worse for households with children. About a quarter of these face food insecurity. But why are British children starving? The simple answer is the cost of living crisis. The war in Ukraine has caused the prices of essentials like food and energy to go up. Wages haven't increased proportionally, so people have been cutting down on food to make ends meet. They try and limit their intake to feed their children.
Possibly I wouldn't be eating tonight. My children would be able to eat, but I wouldn't be able to eat, and maybe I won't be able to eat for a few days because the food that I'd put on my plate, I'd be putting on my kids' plate instead, because I'd rather them eat, because they've got school and they've got their futures ahead of them.
But sometimes even that isn't enough. There's also the recent fresh food shortage. Supermarkets are rationing vegetables due to a shortage in supplies. London blames the shortage on adverse weather in southern Europe, but Europe says it is suffering no shortages. In the UK, prices of fruits and vegetables have gone up, so people have had to cut down on healthy food and are buying junk instead. The cost of a nutritious meal has gone up.
To be honest, I'm going for the cheapest goods at the moment because of the inflation and the cost of living. But yeah, it's very scary. Let's hope it put right quite soon.
And what's the government doing to feed British children? Nothing new yet. Last year, they extended a scheme to provide free breakfast to some school children. But civil society groups are pushing for universal free school meals. This means all school children should be provided with free meals at school. Something like India's midday meal scheme. London's Mayor Sadiq Khan plans to roll out free meals to all primary school students. It's scheduled to start from September. It's a one-year emergency measure to address the crisis. Scotland and Wales are planning the same. But all these measures will take time. and the number of hungry children is rising steadily. Unless prices fall and food supplies increase, the UK government is staring at a malnutrition epidemic.